You're watching Wanted with me, Jonathan. People in Chitradurga were shocked to learn of the murder of an 8-year-old child. Everyone wondered who could have killed the child and why. It turns out that the murder was over a property dispute. But who in their right mind could have killed a child? Take a look to find out as we give you all the details of this sensational case. Money and property can be a huge motivating factor to kill. Ever so often in Wanted, we have shown you so many of such stories. People get killed by their own spouse or their siblings for money or a property dispute. This story from Chitradurga is very similar, but it also has some shocking details that you could have never imagined. But before we tell you more about the story, we will introduce the main characters of this episode. This man on your screen is Chiranjeevi. He is a 25-year-old man who lives with his family in Chitradurga. He and his family depend on their farm for their living. Make no mistake about it, this family is quite well off and owns enough land to have property disputes. But we will come to that in a little bit. For now, we will tell you more about this man. Chiranjeevi was suffering from piles. His health condition was quite bad and his treatment was getting more expensive. The man had found a doctor in Bengaluru who was his best chance to make a speedy recovery, but not being from the big city and not having insurance meant that the bills were piling up. His parents were getting old and they were not in a position to help Chiranjeevi. The man had to do something for himself. The only problem was that he was one of the 3 siblings. Whatever property that he thought he rightfully deserved had to be 33% of the property. Chiranjeevi wanted to sell his share of the property, move to Bengaluru and start a new life there. But his brothers did not want to split the land. They knew the land was more than a livelihood. It was their parents' dream. It was of sentimental value to the whole family. Chiranjeevi for years had tried to convince both his brothers to sell the land and take their shares. But they were not interested. So the man had tried to create conflicts within the family. So they would all break apart and ask for their respective shares, and Chiranjeevi was able to execute his plan too. He had created a situation where both his brothers fought over selling and keeping the property. He had turned his 2 brothers against each other. Now it wasn't Chiranjeevi who was the villain, but his brothers. They were the ones fighting with Chiranjeevi's father over the property settlement. His father, the head of the family, was aging and was upset that his children were fighting over property. The man had not raised his children that way. He could not believe that they were all fighting over property. The man was sick and tired of the constant fights. We will tell you what the man did when he got upset. But before that, let us introduce another important character that is vital to the story. Look at this child. He is 8-year-old Govind. Govind is Chiranjeevi's nephew. He is the son of Chiranjeevi's brother Rangappa. This child was extremely close to his grandparents. His grandfather especially used to take the child to the farms every day and show him his achievements. He used to tell him how the farm was nothing when he thought it and how he had transformed it by working day and night. The child, though young, could see what his grandfather had done. He was proud of his grandfather. The man thought Govind was the only one who understood the sentimental value of the farm. His own children, who had seen their father toiling away in the fields that had fed them, were ready to sell it and move out. The head of the family did not want to see this, so he decided to tell the whole family who could be the heir to his property. Just look at this piece of land. This is the land that was under dispute, but not for much longer. It was going to be very clear. A will was going to be made. Govind alone was going to inherit his grandfather's property through the will in which he was the only nominee. That when the Chiranjeevi's plan had misfired, he had set his brothers up for a fight so he could benefit from it, but it was the child who was going to benefit, and for all he knew, Chiranjeevi may have even gotten evicted from his own property. Chiranjeevi was extremely upset. He wanted to tell his father that what he was doing was wrong. He wanted to tell his father that it was unfair to him and his two brothers to be left out of the will. Chiranjeevi went to his father and tried to explain to him that he had several health issues. He told him that he wanted a share in the property so he could pay for his treatment, but his father knew Chiranjeevi would sell off the land as soon as he had the chance. He did not want that, so he did not budge to Chiranjeevi's request. Chiranjeevi did not know how to react now. He was in for a fix. Not only was he liable to not get his share of the land, but he was going to lose any chance to have a claim in the property if his father nominated his nephew to inherit his estate. Chiranjeevi got drunk that night. He came home drunk and fought with his father. He called his father names, insulted him, and told him that a piece of land was more important than his son's life. His father was shocked to see his son's behavior, but he was not willing to budge again. He made it very clear that none of his sons would get his property. Now Chiranjeevi started hating the child. He took out all his frustration on an 8-year-old child who didn't even understand the situation that he was in. Chiranjeevi told his father that he would kill the boy so he could not nominate him in his will. Chiranjeevi's father thought his son was drunk and did not take the threat seriously. But on the 1st of March, the child went missing. The family looked for the child everywhere. They went back to the child's school. They went to all his friends' houses, but no one had seen the child. The family clearly remembers the child being at home with Chiranjeevi. So they called him to ask if the child was with him. But Chiranjeevi had already left to Bengaluru for some treatment. He told the family that he had come to Bengaluru in a hurry as he had to meet a doctor. He told the family that he had not seen the child, but people clearly remember spotting the child with him the last time he was seen. So the family kept calling Chiranjeevi and asked him where the child may have gone, but Chiranjeevi told them nothing. Parents were contemplating on going to the police station the next morning when someone rushed to their home and told them that they found a child in a bag. The family ran to see what had happened. They found Govind's body in a bag in the neighboring field. They were shocked. They could not believe what they were seeing. They sat outside the house crying and trying to process what had happened. But all they could do was call the cops and let them know what had happened. The cops came to the crime scene and took note of the situation. They found that the child had most likely been drowned and then packed up into the bag before his body was disposed of. The cops asked the family if they suspected anyone. The family couldn't think of anything to tell the cops, but it was the neighbors who guessed that it could have been Chiranjeevi. That theory made sense to the cops. They went to the family's home and found that there was a tank at the house. They were convinced that the child was drowned in the same tank, and the only way someone could have done it was if they had access to enter the house. On that day, the child went missing. There was no one else at home. It was just Chiranjeevi and his nephew. Chiranjeevi had even threatened to kill the child. The family had not taken the threat seriously back. But now looking at the circumstances, they too were sure who the killer was. Chiranjeevi could have killed the child and then gone to Bengaluru to produce a fake alibi. The cops too knew that the man was behind it and waited for him to return to Chitradurga. And Chiranjeevi did return home, assuming his family had believed his lies. But as soon as he got down from the bus, the cops were waiting for him. The cops did not waste a moment. They went directly to the police station and questioned Chiranjeevi. Chiranjeevi had an alibi, but it was not solid. He was building a web of lies around the murder. The cops knew he was lying to them and grilled him till he confessed to the crime.
ನಿನ್ನೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನಾಯಕನಹಟ್ಟಿ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಚಳ್ಳಕೆರೆ ಸಬ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ಸಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಕೇಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. FIR ನಂಬರ್ 13/2020ನಲ್ಲೇ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 302 201 IPCನಲ್ಲೇ ಈ ಪ್ರಕರಣ ದಾಖಲೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಪ್ರಕರಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ್ ಅಜಿತ್ ಅಂತ 8 ವರ್ಷದ ಮಗುದು ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಸ್ವಂತ ಚಿಕ್ಕಪ್ಪ ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈತನನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ.
Yes, it has been established now that Chiranjeevi was in fact the killer. The man had observed the child was alone at home. He told the child he would take him bird watching. When the child came out of the house, along with his uncle Chiranjeevi, improvised and drowned the child in the tank that was in their house. After that, he had bundled up the body in a bag and left it in the neighboring field.
ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕೇಸಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ಮತ್ತು ರಂಗಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ಗೋವಿಂದನ ಅಪ್ಪ ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬ್ರದರು ಅವರು ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಜೊತೆನೆಲ್ಲ ಆಸ್ತಿ ವಿಚಾರವಾಗಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಜಗಳ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆವಾಗ ಈ ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ಈ ಅಕ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಏನಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಆತನ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ನಾನು ಯಾವ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೂ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನಾದ ಗೋವಿಂದನಿಗೆ ಬರಿತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸುಮಾರು ಸಲ ಅವ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲೇ ಜಗಳಗಳಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ವಿಚಾರವಾಗಿ ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ಮೊನ್ನೆ 4ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಈ ಮಗು ಅಜಿತ್ ಮಗು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಂದ ನಂತರ ಪಾರಿವಾಳನ ಆಟಾಡ್ಸೋದು ನಾನು ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮನೆ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಒಂದು ಟ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಟ್ಯಾಂಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹತ್ರ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಮಗುನ ಆ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗಿಸಿ ಸಾಯಿಸಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಈ ಗೊಬ್ಬರದ ಚೀಲದಲ್ಲೇ ಕಟ್ಟಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳದಲ್ಲೇ ಬೂಸದೇವರ ಹಟ್ಟಿ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಅಂತ ಈ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳದಲ್ಲೇ ಅದನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಾನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ.
The man had then boarded a bus to Bengaluru to get away from the cops. When they came to investigate the body, Chiranjeevi had been planning the child's murder for months but had committed the crime in haste when he observed there was no one at home. Chiranjeevi did not have a solid alibi and the cops were too good to believe his lies.
ಆಮೇಲಿಂದ ಈ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸು ರಂಗಪ್ಪ ಆಮೇಲಿಂದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು ಅಜ್ಜಿ ತಾತ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ನನ್ನ ಮಗುನ ಹುಡುಕೋಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ಮಗುನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿರೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಳ್ಳಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಜನಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಗ ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿಗೆ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ಯಾ ಏನು ಅಂತ, ಆತ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಆತ ಮಿಸ್ಲೀಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ.
Eventually, the cops managed to get a confession from the man and found the motive behind the murder was in fact the property settlement dispute.
ಆಮೇಲಿಂದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು ನಿನ್ನೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ಮಗುದು ಆ ಬಾಡಿ ಆ ಹಳ್ಳದಲ್ಲೇ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಬಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಕೇಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಗೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ತಾನೇ ಸಾಯಿಸಿರೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ.
Now the cops have cracked the case. They knew exactly who killed Govind. They know the motive for the murder, and after a spot inquest, they know how the crime was committed.
ಆಸ್ತಿ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲೇ ಸುಮಾರು ಜಗಳ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹುಷಾರಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಪೈಲ್ಸ್ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನನಗೆ ಹುಷಾರಿಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಆಸ್ತಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಭಾಗ ಕೊಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೊಡೆಯೋದು ಬಡಿಯೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ನಂತೆ. ಆವಾಗ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ತನ್ನ ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಆತ ಹೆದರಿಸ್ತಾನೂ ಇರ್ತಾನಂತೆ, ನೀನು ಮೊಮ್ಮಗನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀಯ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಮಾರು ಸಲ ಆ ಥರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಕಾಮನ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸು ಅಜ್ಜಿ ತಾತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿರಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಮಗು ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಆವಾಗ ಅವರು ಈತನೂ ಕೂಡ ಚಿರಂಜೀವಿ ಆ ದಿನ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ತಾನೇ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾನು ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮಿಸ್ಲೀಡ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನನೂ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಾಗ ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಳಗಿನ ಜಾವ ಬಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ಲೇ ಸಿಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಜ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ.
Now the cops have arrested him and produced him to the court. They are still investigating the case to get more details, but at the time of filing this report, the cops were convinced that they had enough actionable and circumstantial evidence to put Chiranjeevi behind bars for a long time. Chiranjeevi's family is still in disbelief over what has just happened. They are unable to believe that the man had killed his nephew. He will most likely be behind bars for a very long time now. He will have enough time to reflect upon his actions. Basvaraj Mudanur for News 9 Chitradurga.